1, 2, 3. This microphone was okay, right? But the other one was.
Yeah.
1, 2.
Try the other one.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Better? Is this one better?
Yeah, better. Maybe that's
Yeah.
the.
The other has some back.
It's off. I think I put it off.
But we only need one, I think.
That's fine.
Yeah. I think this one is
Sit.
enough.
Maybe you can
Can you
try
make
that
this
one.
one? Yeah.
Which one? Is it good?
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Yeah,
a
much
little
better.
But better.
Yeah, okay.
You can make this one also a little louder? No, it's okay.
Louder?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Most of the time I don't use it anyway.
Okay, I hope you had a great break. Yeah? Is it good? Perfect. Because now we want to go deep dive into the ecological standards, all 22 criteria we want to show you, and yeah, of course, talk a little bit about our experience with it maybe also, and what is challenging and what is yeah, maybe more easier. And yeah, we start with pre-production and we start with stone art.
Yes, thank you. Yes, so the first thing which comes with the ecological standard in the beginning of the production is this statement of the producer and head of, who says he is willing to produce after the ecological standards to fulfill the criteria. So this is the first thing. Therefore, they already had written it in a contract with a broadcaster or with a streaming partner, or if it's independent and they have funding, they need that for the funding. So this is the first step.
And maybe just to add, this it's a small sentence, but it's very important, non-discardable. So you remember the 5 jokers, but this one is not jokeable. So you have to, you need the signature
Yeah.
and the declaration.
Yeah, like some of them, like 5, are obligatory. You can't skip them.
Yeah.
You need to have them. So, second criteria is the employing of one of the green consultants, so one of us. And this green consultant should have a certification which gave out by two states or industry places. One is university in the south of Germany. The name of the university is?
HDM, HDM.
HDM, yeah, thank you.
Stuttgart.
And the other one is the certification of the Chamber of Industry in the south of Germany, in Munich. In those 2 places you can get a certification as a green consultant.
Yeah, that qualify you for this criteria.
But this is something, this is very important, this is not obligatory. As a producer I can say, I don't need a green consultant. Yeah, I do it by myself, and therefore they can say no green consultant. But if they take a green consultant, it has to be certificated, and then they fulfill the criteria.
Yeah, and that's why the logo is here from our association, because this is a very crucial point for us, because we say, you know, the topic is huge, as you see, and you can't give that to a person who does, I don't know, the normal production management. I mean, you can, but if you really want to have a sustainable production, you look at the processes and you look maybe how to reduce costs also, we say you need an external person who just have this topic in mind. And yeah, it's a pity that they that is jokeable right now.
Yes.
So, but maybe it's going back. We will see.
It also opens the door for greenwashing, because somebody who's dependent on the production will always decide for the costs and not for the environment. Here we go with the preparatory carbon footprinting calculation. We saw the system before lunch break, So this is something you find out together with production manager. You go through the calculation and find out how much money he uses for diesel, for fuels, for generators, for motors, for traveling, for hotels, for the catering. And because of these numbers, you can take these numbers and put them into the calculation system. And then you see, okay, here we are having, I don't know, 75 tons or whatever. Is it necessarily that you use so many generators in all of the motifs? Can't we solve the problem with the other location? Or could we maybe use like having 2 vegetarian days per week, or 1 vegetarian day per week? We're coming to that. Or something. Or can you maybe make it possible to get green energy for the production office or for the post-production? So this is all the things you can find out in the calculation, and these numbers. And you're also talking to the head ofs like art department, costume, and location manager, and the lighting department, if they use like LED lights or classical old lighting equipment, and so on and on. And because of the data you get from these head off, you also can fulfill this or fill in this preparatory carbon footprinting calculation.
And this is also important to say, because like very important basis for the calculation is the budget list, and this was also a discuss point, because the producers were like, no, I don't want to open my budget for you, but we needed to calculate it, and they say, yeah, maybe it's you can read something out of it. I don't know how the producers like shift their money or something like this. So yeah, this is highly discussed, and every time if you have a new production and you say we need everything what is like attached to emissions and
resources.
and resources, and sometimes this calculation is very rough. So you have like 30 shooting days and you just count it up.
And the thing is, like, example, costume design. The budget for costumes is always a budget where the producer can shift money. He says to the broadcaster he uses 30,000 euro for the costume, but at the end he just takes 20,000 and take the 10,000 for something else the director wants in the last minute, to have a security money for him. And that's why it's a big partnership between the production manager and the green consultant. You really have to trust each other.
Yeah.
And that you know what they tell you, it stays under you, and you are not working for the broadcaster. You're working for you're working for the system, you're working for the nature, environment, but you are a partner of the production manager.
Yeah, and then of course we have the final carbon calculation we showed you already, and here it's just nice to see the split, and you have it in advance, but now you can check have we reduced our emission, have we, maybe it's also often of the times at my production it's higher because of additional shooting days of I don't know, something they missed in the first place, but it depends also, and I think this is very important, these ecological standards, it's like for every public funded production, so maybe from a documentary with 5 persons also to a set with 200 persons. So, and for everyone it's like different, also the whole process and stuff, but also for a documentary they also have to do it. So it's nothing like you have a small production, you only have to do 10 criteria. It's the whole thing for everyone.
And at the end, you see really the hard facts, because then you have the invoices coming in from all the partners which worked for the production. So you see every emission, every resource which happened, and this is a much wider view on the whole production. You're getting in every department where there's existing emissions or resources. And this is very important. This is a very important partner as well. At the end, I doesn't know how it what's the name is in English, but Filmgeschäftsführung. It's head of production at the end. You know, it's not the producer, but the one who's in charge for the money.
Money, the contracts.
Executive.
Yeah, it's an executive, and this is also a strong partnership with the executive.
Are the dealers also giving detailed information in the invoices that the materials they are using was just plastic or?
We're coming to that point later, but no, not always.
Because it's also that comes to the point that you have to have sustainable dealers as well for the film industry.
Yeah, and I mean, all the suppliers, they are also shifting money, you know, so they have a budget, like the art department, and then it was less the money. So for us, the position, it's quite funny because we see the real numbers and we are just it's how you said, it's a big matter of trust, and it's all really important to because it's like.
That's why it's so important that green consultants are independent.
Yeah.
You know, because otherwise you can use that data for whatever.
Yeah, because now, like maybe one more thing to the green consultant criteria, a lot of production houses now have them internally, and sometimes it's just a green consultant as a position or as a job, but sometimes it's like, okay, the production managers have now the certification, and they do both. They do production management and they are also green consultant. So yeah, but it's hard for them to to have Weiterbildung seminars.
Yeah.
Because they don't have time for new topics, and it's
also
fast changing.
And it's hard for them to communicate with the team when they have two heads off.
Yeah.
They will say, yeah, okay, I tell you my budget, you know, so.
Final report.
Yeah, and then we come to the final report. We already saw that before lunch break. The final report, like which criteria has been fulfilled and which not. This is also one criteria that this final report needs to be handed in to the production, to the broadcaster, to the streamer, or whoever is the one who's checking it. Yeah, one person is responsible for checking it, and and if it's in an independent production without funding money or without state's money, they then check it by the PwC, by the PricewaterhouseCoopers, and therefore they need that as well.
This is pre-production. Any question to that? Because this is like the first step, because it's like split into different chapters, and maybe important. And the first chapter is here, energy use. So every criteria regarding this topic, and maybe in general, I just want to show you something. I hope it's work. Give me a second.
Ah, cool. Very nice.
I want to show you this website.
May I have a question?
Do you know it?
When we're talking about cinema film, it's a total production, starts and ends.
Yeah.
But if it's a TV series or a series, are you all working for each episode, or for the whole project?
We are working for the series are always produced in blocks. So you mostly for seasons, yeah. So one season has maybe 12 episodes, and then you produce 3 or 4 blocks. So every block, which includes 4 episodes, has this procedure. So we're talking about 30 to 50 shooting days then. You also are allowed to do it for the whole season. Then we're talking about 150 shooting days or something. But this is kind of risky, because the challenge is that you, in that time, not fulfill all the criteria. It's very high, because you have 4 blocks with not the same team. And so it can change in every block. And the risk is high that you won't make it.
Yeah. Just want to show you this electricity maps. You can Google it. It's really nice, because you can click on every country and see how they have where they have their energy from and how they maybe sell it to other countries. So you see here the different. It's funny because France is really green because they have the nuclear thing, and this is also
Atomic energy.
discussed. But they say, yeah, it's less CO2.
They have atomic energy and
electricity, I suppose. Grid power, you know,
Yeah.
the electricity you get when you put something plug in. So, and as far as I know, 70% of electricity in Turkey is produced based on sustainable ways.
yeah.
But the problem is that the industry is mobile, and you know they don't have most of the times access to the grid power.
Mm. Yeah, so this is for Turkey.
The French atomic energy is not green since ever. They made a law for that they can say that their atomic energy is green. So they made this go through the European Parliament because the French wanted to, because their electricity system is based on atomic energy, and they want to push that topic forward.
What do you mean?
This is quite.
They sell the energy to Europe, I guess, from
Turkey?
atomic. No, France.
Also, yeah.
That's why they're guarding atomic energy.
Sometimes, but we had like
It's here.
last summer.
Goes into Germany here.
Yeah, but last summer the rivers were low in France. There was no rain, so the atomic reactors had no water to cool the systems. So France got all the energy from Germany, from wind and solar power, and from the rest of the countries. So the atomic energy is also quite
Nuclear. Yeah, it's really
instable.
Yeah, and really expensive. So,
And the reactors are very old in France.
but this is a live map. So, I mean, this is now 9. I think when I now refresh it, it's 10 on our letter. Yeah, but you see, like for example, in summer days, you see it live that solar energy goes up, and in winter days it goes down. So, yeah, but
Is this Turkey?
this is Turkey now.
Yeah, okay.
And you see here per country, like the kilowatt hour, how much CO2 it is. For example, here per kilowatt hour, 421 grams. In Germany,
It's
500.
It's more.
It's more.
So you have a greener energy at the moment. Just now,
Only
in that
at 10
second.
o'clock.
Yeah. At 10, at 3 o'clock it will be different.
Definitely. Yeah, but this is a good basis for what comes next. Perfect. Yeah, but this is like a big topic, renewable energy. We have a big shift in Germany at the moment, so also to 40-50% sometimes at good days comes from renewable energy, and we have a lot of energy suppliers with green energy. So for production companies and also post-production houses, it's really simple to use like green energy because it's not more expensive. Maybe a little bit, but most of the times it's not a lot. So this is a big criteria, and because also maybe you know the market, but the electricity suppliers must buy the guarantees of origin. So when you have more clients in this area and they want more green energy, then the market is shifting.
Yeah, that's important because every kilowatt which will be paid for ecological energy, green energy, next year will be automatically green energy. So the percentage goes up and up and up because it's a self-fulfilling system.
So next criteria is exactly that. That's why we introduced that you need green energy at all production sites. That can look like that. So for example, there's a big studio in Bavaria, in Munich, called Bavaria Studios, and they have like own energy systems, of course solar panels, but yeah, all the big production houses, they really look how they can have more certified green energy or produce it themselves. So especially when you have big studios, it's nice when you have it. And yeah, there's also including the post-production to fulfill this criteria. Yeah, you need it at all production sites. And I think, yeah, this is the next one. So when the post-production is like
One thing to the studios. Studios are really nice because they have a lot of space on the roofs.
Yeah.
So it's easy for them to make like solar plugins on the roofs. So normally this is what they're doing.
Yeah. And this is like, this criteria is for when you have an external post-production house which have another site. It's also for them that they have to use green energy. Yeah. And that's why I said a post-production house in Germany without green energy, in these days it's very rare.
It's stupid.
Yeah, and it's stupid, of course, because they cannot book you. I mean, they can, but they have to use a joker, and they don't want to.
So production companies would take probably another post-production company if they don't have green energy.
Yeah.
What do you mean by joker?
The-
Joker, yeah.
I mean the 5 jokers you have for the minimum, for the ecological standards. You can.
So you have to find an outsource.
No, the Joker means you have 22 criteria, but you only have to fulfill 17. 5 you don't have to fulfill. So you can leave away. You can leave away the green consultant, the green energy in post-production, or whatever. Yeah, 5. This is the way to make a smooth entrance for the production companies, that they don't say, "Oh my God, what have I done?"
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe next year we have 3, or maybe we have 1 some days, and then it gets really hard because okay, I have 1 joker or 3 jokers. We really have to care. How can we had 3 at the beginning, right?
No,
And then-
5.
No, it was.
What's 3? Yeah, you're right.
It was 3
Yeah.
because we had
Yeah,
21 criteria.
That's true.
And we had 3 jokers
Yeah.
only, and that was really hard. And then they said, okay, because of infrastructure, we go to 5.
Yeah.
And with 5, I would say
5 is
it's
easy going.
possible. Yeah.
It's for a lot of people who like to work sustainable. They think, why we are on 5 now? We were on 3. Why we go back on 5? But the other hand of the production company says here, we don't want any criteria. So better take 5, and otherwise we don't go with it.
Yeah.
So it's a battle going on also.
And maybe one last point to your question, because post-production is really underrated. They have so much data and so much server capacities. For example, with resolution like from 2K, 4K, 8K, 16K, I don't know. That means like doubled or tripled the data.
Yep.
So it's a lot of energy they are using, and the computer they're running all night, rendering stuff, and I don't know. So this is good when they have like
it's important.
green energy.
Yeah.
Okay, then we go to generators, and this is also a very hard point. Most of the times here is the joker.
Yes.
Because it says something like you can use a generator, but only if like grid power is not available within 100 meters. So when you have shooting that in the city, for example in Berlin, you have grid power everywhere, I would say. And I think there's also a law from Berlin right now that it's not possible to use maybe in the night
Generators
because
anymore.
of loudness also.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you are in nature, in a forest or something, that is the exception. Then they say, okay, you can use it. But this is like a very, very big emission point, a very big hotspot, because it's a lot of diesel. And here's also a thing that, for example, the light technicians, most of the time they take the bigger generator because they say, I want to be safe. And then, I don't know, 2 lamps are attached to it, and you have like very big generators. You could,
And the generator has to run by full power
Yeah.
because of the filter system. So you have only 2 lamps, and the generator for 100 kilowatt hours is running full power and sucking diesel and emit. So that's very stupid. But it's also the filter are like necessary. So that's why they have to do it like that.
We want to show you an alternative, or 2 alternatives, which is like also coming very slowly to the market, but we have some rentals where it's possible to have. And this is, for example, like a self-construction from a rental, because the rentals were really, okay, we will jump on this sustainability train. And this is, for example, like a battery generator. And it's also very silent, which is an advantage. And they also have, I think, a hybrid system. So when the battery is empty, they drive with care diesel. I don't know if you know it. It's like a plant-based diesel. Also a discussable point, but this is interesting. And there we have one more, just as an example. We have different ones. So this one is with hydrogen and also completely silent. It's what is necessary for the film set. Yeah, and we have some more, for example, with solar panels on it, but then yeah, you need a set with sun.
Yeah, and we also have CNG generators, which is biogas, which is climate neutral, which is very cost effective, and we have a big, like infrastructure-wise, we have a big tank system in Germany with over 1,000 CNG gas stations. And the thing is, what I wanted to add to the generators is that most of the production, when they only shoot one day on one location, it's mostly very expensive to only have one shooting day and like a grid system, like getting electricity from the city or what. So in that case, most of the productions saying, no, sorry, we don't have the budget, we need to have a generator, because they get the full package with the lights and the cameras and the generators in a full package deal, and then they say the other thing is too expensive. So that's why nearly no one fulfill this criteria.
Except from these who say, okay, we will shoot differently, for example, with available light, which is also like a creative decision, or we will reduce it, also the lamps and stuff. So yeah, there's often the case that you just have a generator, you have it because maybe we need it.
It's nearly for free from the
Yeah.
from the technician supporters. But that's why we, as an association, work therefore that they change this criteria into the criteria that if you have one day of shooting on one location, you are allowed to take a generator. So then the other days they will probably use the other versions or the grid energy. So then it would make a huge effect.
Yeah, and maybe one more learning, it's really, you need light technicians that are willing to use it. You need like pioneers, also in the light department or the energy department, because like this one, it's a very good thing, but you need people who say, okay, I try something new, I'm booked here as a light technician and I have to deliver, but I will test it. And because otherwise, because there are a lot of people that just say, I need my generator, I know it's running, I know the diesel is going well, and this is kind of, yeah, this is a big point that we have to, yeah, teach also the people that it's workable.
But we always have to see the whole crew, because head of lighting is also depending on director and production manager. And if they say, we have to hurry up, put on a 5 kV, we have to do it, shoot it.
Yeah.
And then he said, no, sorry, I only have the generator with the 40 kilowatt per hours. We can't do it, we don't have the lamps. Then they say, okay, you're fired. So
Hopefully not. Yeah, but maybe
Yeah.
it's someone the case.
so it's always a give and take.
Yeah. One more example.
What about the
Yeah.
costs? Is it more expensive to use this alternative than the generator?
If you have grid electricity from the city for more than one shooting day, it's the same price. Only one shooting day, it's somebody has to
It's like
come,
installation, yeah.
installation it.
It's like, yeah.
For long term.
Yeah,
Long
so
term, it's same.
I think there's also like one person from the city that comes and yeah, gives the cable to you
Yeah.
like this. And for one day, it's yeah, it's not good. We want just to share one example, because we have the Eisvogel. I don't know if you know it. It's
Probably
a
not.
very new award for sustainable films in Germany, also for international productions, so you can apply as well. And it's rewarded by the Ministry of Environment.
Right.
And we are also partner of it with our federal association. And the winner of this year was actually a French production, C'est Le Mans L'Envers. I hope I speak it correctly. And they said, we do a no fuel policy over the whole production. So there has no fuel, no diesel, no benzene. And then they said, okay, we go with solar panels and we go with electric cars. And they produce so much energy that they put that back to the grid system. So they produce more energy than they actually needed. And yeah, this was
That's really great.
impressive. Yeah. But of course, this is also, I think they had 28 electric vehicles with mobile charging stations, and yeah, it was really a whole process. And they said, but this was like also top down, so the production management and the heads, they wanted to do it like that.
The whole team.
Yeah, and the whole team was in the mood. This is very important. I think I've written it here also. Yeah, they had like mobile solar modules, and this is also when it's not available. So yeah, you have to put energy in this, in research maybe, or in the process. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lighting. You want to go?
Yeah.
Or will I take it?
What was the genre of that? Was it a fiction film
Yeah.
or
I think it was a fiction film. I think.
Ich dachte noch, ich kann die auch noch machen. So yeah, like not only the grid system has to be green energy in the studio, also the lighting system has to be green since this year, or since mid of the year. It's a new criteria, and therefore the studios changing the light system into mostly LEDs. And for on production, on location production, it's still okay if you use other lighting, because you're moving and you never know what light situation you have. But in the studio, where you can control the light situation, you have to use like lights which are very energy efficient, so mostly LEDs. And most of the studios in Germany now fulfill those criteria, that they have green energy and green lighting system.
But there are also, I have a production that is in one studio, and the studio is like there for, I don't know, decades, and they say, hey, our lamps are working, why should we replace them? And they do it like, okay, when one is damaged or one is not working, then they say, okay, we replace it with LED, because that's not really sustainable, that we put all in the trash, working lights, and also interesting point. So you have to discuss with the studio.
Yes. But you won't put them into trash, you would probably sell it to
another country.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, I think with that we go to the next chapter, transport, or do you have something for energy? One question regarding that?
During this transformation, were there any support from the government? For example, just put the lights off and use light. Did the companies get some funding from the government?
I know, yeah. There's a plan. So the industry was asked by the Ministry of Culture what are their money they will have additional on their costs. So therefore the lighting and technician suppliers said, okay, we need about that amount of money to renew our equipment. And they said it's about like 70 million. Like the producer said about 90 million. You remember that? In total it was about like a number of, I don't know, over 200 million euro. But this money is not, the Ministry of Culture knows that now, but it's not that it's already like given to the suppliers.
For example, as I know, there is a fund from Euroimage for digitization of
Mhm.
movie cinemas, and also we locally have a fund from the Ministry of Culture for digitization, like that. So this may be a way.
They think about
for
that.
the
They think about that, but because economy goes down,
It's not the priority.
Yeah, but it was a lot of invest of the technic companies and the equipment companies, or at least a lot of companies that said we will invest in it now, because it was like a few years ago it was really like a sustainability rush and a push, and we will have the standards, it will be obligatory and stuff. And now it's really hard for them, because with inflation, and this year was really hard for the industry, and only few say I take more money for another generator or for another lamp. So
okay, lamps is quite normal actually.
Yeah, maybe
most
lamps.
70 to 80% of the lamps now on the lighting trucks are efficient.
Yeah, but there are also, for example, labs where you can replace the lamp itself, so you don't have to replace the whole lamp, just what's the name? The brenner.
The brenner,
And
the lighting
this is quite
material.
expensive also. So.
But this is a nice fact where you can see how things working. Yeah, like on the one hand we had this ecological standard with 3 jokers, then the production companies and all the supporters said, okay, let's go green. And then the production company said, no, we go back to 5. And so we don't need the new sustainable generators anymore.
At this point, yeah.
So it's a given. It's 2 steps before and 3. It's like everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then we go to transport.
Mm-hmm. Mine order.
Yeah. With the flights.
With the flights. Yeah, we talked about it. The flights. If the flight can be reached within 5 hours per train, you need to take a train. Otherwise, you don't fulfill that criteria. And this is also something you have to give testimonial about. You have to show them the flights and what the equality in train time, and this is something will be checked. So this is very concrete. And you have a lot of producers who say, come on, I'm very important, my time is very important, so I need to fly. So, and then you have to tell them as a green consultant, okay, you can fly if you think you're so important, but then you miss one criteria, and it makes it more complicated. But it depends with whom you're working and what his ego is and his time schedule. Yeah, sometimes they don't have time. Or actors often.
I think it's like also that private jet in general are forbidden.
Private jet in general is forbidden. Yeah,
Because
I don't know any producer private jet in Germany.
But
Martin
actors,
Moskowitz, yeah,
actors maybe.
Actors, yeah.
Yeah, but this is not like for connecting flights. So when you have, I don't know, Berlin to Istanbul, and no, this is maybe a bad example, but maybe where you have Zwischenlandung, how do you say it?
In between?
Like a transition flight,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So yeah, it's not like per flight. It's like the whole,
The whole flight. Yeah.
the whole flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is important because it's and maybe here again we have here the bike because this is very nice. I had a production in Italy and they really used a lot of electric bikes for the whole crew, and they could go to the set with bikes. And it was also a lot of electric cars and like pooling, for example,
But it's your
carpooling.
lifestyle to go to somewhere with bicycle.
I know, Istanbul, this is not possible.
Yeah.
This is what we
That's
talk
true.
about infrastructure. you know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but for example, they used a lot of carpoolings, so they really looked how can we put the people together in one car or in one bus, because that's also. Or for example, they did all in Italy with train because they have a very good train system, better than in Germany.
Yeah, at the moment.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
at the moment,
Yeah.
because it goes on time. Yeah.
But I mean, you can see on this topic, it also would be necessary that there are some biker ways for bikers, that you establish such a system, and this can go hand in hand with such a thing. If you say Istanbul is a capital for film industry in Turkey, and we would like to make it more sustainable, hey, why don't work also on the transporting system for bikes? Electric bikes. You can go up the hills and down. It's not so exhausting.
Exciting. Okay, we go to the next one.
Employing, kann man das eigentlich sagen, was man die angestellt hat? So, yeah, this is the point with the electric and energy efficient car systems. So here you see like on the left benziner and diesel and the CO2 amount symbolic, and below the symbolic CO2 amount of an electric car. Also of the CNG, like biogas is missing here, but this is also a possibility. And yeah, the problem with this thing, you need to have like every third car in your production which you're renting or is you owned has to be one energy efficient car or CO2 emission, lower emission car. So the problem we have here with the infrastructure is at the moment that the rentals, they had it, they bought it, they had it, and they rented it, but now they see on the second-hand market, because rental system is that they sell the cars on second-hand again. They can't sell it anymore because the people are afraid to buy electric cars second-hand because of the battery system. And this is a huge infrastructure problem we have. So that's why at the moment we get nearly no electric rental cars. We had them, but they're gone. And we are now waiting for certification for the TÜV. The TÜV is an instance for all transport systems. And yeah, the instance. They're checking the cars, say this car goes to the market or this car not. And they are developing a system to check second-hand batteries, the level of the energy level. So if you have that system in some months, the energy market, the electric market for the rentals will go up again, because then they can sell it on the second hand. So you see, it's always step in front and 2 steps back, and it's in developing. Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe one more sentence to electric cars, because here it says it's like 0, but this is also meant or only meant for driving. So you have to see the whole production process of electric cars as well, and also that you put green energy into the electric car when you have the chance to do it. So maybe not from the generator with diesel, because some people also do it at the set. They put the electric car to the diesel generator. Also a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe this is excluding the picture cars. So everything you see in front of the camera is not meant by that.
Yeah.
Only like from the production company.
Behind the camera.
This is your last.
Oh yeah. So we come to diesel. Actually, everybody loves diesel in Germany because they run and run and run and run. But since some years, since the Green Motion, we are, and not only we, but because of the diesel scandal from Volkswagen. Yeah. So diesel is has not such a good reputation anymore. And also we don't like it so much. And if you're going to rent a diesel or use a diesel for production, it at least has to have the Euro 6 standard. So Euro 6 is a little green balcony about Stickoxide, and then you have yellow is 5 and orange is 4, and in the red one 3. In Germany nobody's driving 3 anymore, I think so, or I did not recognize. But yeah, this is another criteria, and yeah, and this is also it's easy to fulfill because the rentals don't have anything else than Euro 6 mostly.
And here it's for every car, right?
It's for every car.
Every car.
Also, technical suppliers. Also, the trucks has to be Euro 6.
Yeah, because like what we had before, or is it for this? Like when you have like technical cars. For example, you build something in and then it's not valid. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have like a special construction, like catering construction, or for the costume design, or for the art department, they have special cars. They are taken out.
Yeah.
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 Okay, that was transport. Any transport question? Diesel questions? Okay, then I think we have this one.
Yeah.
Catering. Oh, is this a mic? Oh no.
Yeah,
that's
it's a
fine.
mic.
Yeah, catering and accommodation also really important, especially like the hotels, and this is often also put with a joker because it's not so easy also to communicate, because you have to communicate with the hotels, and then you are at the reception on the phone and hey, do you have green energy? No one knows it, and then you need I don't know, the management maybe, who is in charge.
I want to talk to the manager.
Yeah, I want to talk to the manager. And yeah, but this is very important, that you have like more than 50% or like a minimum of 50% of environmentally friendly accommodation. So when you have like an international production, that gets really hard. In Germany, I would say it's possible, yeah, because we have a big list of hotels, and for example, some hotel change also, and you know, okay, this change. Chain. Sorry.
Motel 1, for example.
Motel 1
is one of the chains.
Yeah.
Chains.
And here, for example, it's not only the green energy; it's also like energy saving measures, or regarding heating, climate, water saving measures. Also, like maybe plastic reduction, or here waste separation. So if it's like a hotel somewhere in the nature, you have to ask how do you supply your energy, and but like internationally, it's hard. For example, also I had a production in Rome. It was not possible to have green energy hotel, So yeah.
But there's also the possibility, if you are somewhere in the nowhere and the next hotel is more than 15 kilometers away,
Yeah.
you can use any hotel and it's okay. So there are exceptions because it's not possible to get a hotel always which is sustainable. And the other thing is, oder kommst du zu den Apartments, kommst du noch, ne?
Nee, Apartments
Ach so. And the other thing is what's also sustainable and eco-friendly in German terms is apartments. So apartment is per se eco-friendly. You don't need any like green energy or whatever because an apartment in comparison to a hotel room is much more eco-friendly because it's not built for like hotels or like tourists and it's not cleaned every day and the whole infrastructure is more eco-friendly. So you also could use that criteria in Turkey if you say, okay, we're working with apartments here.
Okay, job is done.
Ah, yeah.
Now it's get complicated. Catering.
Catering, yeah. So caterer don't like that, and also production manager don't like it because it means more costs, mostly. Not if you just take regional or seasonal food, that maybe is cost effective, can be cost effective. But if you want to add biological food, it's just like per person per day about €5. So for 30-day shooting, 50 people team, it's quite some thousands of euros. So this is some extra budget the production manager have to pay for that really. And the teams also a little bit expected nowadays because they say, hey, are we not worth it to eat some good food on the set? So and this is always a big hustle between production manager and caterer because the caterer knows he also can't give all the costs to the production manager, so he also maybe takes some of the costs on his side. So it depends. It's a little bit difficult, and also the caterer. I mean, the thing is, it's a handshake agreement, so the caterer has not to give in some documents or something. So at the end, who tells me if it's 50% seasonal or 33% biological? Nobody can tell me. Or he can tell if it's a lot more. He can tell, but in a way it's a beginning and it's a possibility to get it in the right direction.
Yeah, but like most of the broadcasters, they are willing to pay more. So like there's like a green, do you say it?
Budget.
Yeah, like a green budget for caterers, and they say, yeah, we want to fulfill these criteria, and then you can get more budget. Yes, but you have to check it.
Yeah, and with this comes also the obligatory criteria of vegetarian catering. So 1 day a week, which is not much, has to be vegetarian. But even that can produce some problems with the team. If you have a team of all technicians, lighting technicians, they say, well, they want to eat meat every day. You have that sometimes. Sometimes then a driver makes a grill next to the catering. You have vegetarian food in the catering and he's going to roast some sausages. And yeah, so. And there you have a nice, was sind das für Dinge? Ernährungsweise?
Yeah.
So here, okay, cool. Yeah, so you have, in comparison to someone who eats everything and meat without biological and seasonal food, is about 1,467 kilograms CO2 per year. To comparison for vegan and biological to 357. So this is a huge difference. It's less than 1/3 of the CO2 emissions than from someone who eats all and not biological and so on.
Yeah, but for example in Germany, I don't know if you have it here, but there's a big trend regarding like plant-based things. So like vegetarian alternatives that are made out of proteins or out of Erbsen. Like plants, I don't know the specific names.
Soya, a lot of soya, a lot of oat, a lot of.
But you have it for everything, like for chicken and for burger patties, and there are some bad ones, but there are also good ones.
Yeah.
And but for example, there are not a lot of caterers that have experience with it.
that know how to
Yeah.
cook with that.
Yeah, but yeah.
So this is also like an educational thing.
Ja. Genau, Essensumfrage.
Yeah, then we make an inquiry about the normal habits of the team, what they like to eat, to see which is the average, how does it change in the years, and what can we do? Can we maybe do 2 vegetarian days or 3 vegetarian days? Depends on how the team is combined. And there also the team is informed what the healthy effects are for eating less meat, for example.
Yeah, this one is a really important and really big difference point, because in the way of asking the people and your crew, this makes really a difference. If it's like the people have to decide, and when you say, do you need everyday meat? It's most of the times no. But when you say like I don't know how many vegetarian days are okay, I don't know, in the way of asking, in the way of inquiring or collecting the information, you see, okay, for the people it's okay to, I don't know, have alternate milk, for example, soya milk, or maybe 2 vegetarian days. So yeah, this one is also must criteria, and it's very good to know. And you have to do it anyways because of allergies and...
Anyways, the production manager has to do it anyways because of allergies, that's right. So you do it together, also asking, do you need the dispo, the shooting order, digital or printed? So you put in a lot of questions in that question mark.
Yeah, and you do it prior to shooting, so you need time for that. And yeah, the last one regarding catering is this: no disposable tableware, regarding plates, cutlery, cups and stuff. And this is also a good trend, and I would say this is very common that people come with their own
Cups.
thanks, or like bottles.
It's not so easy.
No.
No.
Okay, depends.
But it should be good.
Yeah.
But most of the time the caterings buy the recups.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the company is giving the bottles, and then the team is losing the bottles, losing the cups, and then you won nothing, because then it's even worse. But it's an educational thing as well.
Yeah.
And it's very hard with the 0.5 water, because we can in Germany, I don't know if everybody knows, but we can buy everything to drink in bottles which we gave back, and then they get cleaned and refilled, so we don't have to throw them back. So everything works like that. But 0.5 bottles are not to get. Only one company does it. It's very expensive. So then always on the sets you have this 0.5 bottles, and therefore they have their own drinking bottles, but they losing it. So at one point everybody buys this little bottles. But everything else, like cups and forks and boards for eating, everything is reusable, washable, and not to thrown away. No single-use thrown away things are on set. Not at all.
And sometimes you have, for example, now caterings with like unpacked snacks. So you have like a little bowl, and you can just collecting snacks from a big machine, let's say it like that. So yeah, there are also caterers who are willing to do it or doing their best.
It turns out to be a crazy thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And
crazy.
details are
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Overwhelming, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
But
If you say,
it's
if
so
you want to have,
interesting to listen to all.
yeah, it's okay for you, or is it too much?
It's okay.
Yeah?
I enjoy learning. This is new to me, but the details are so interesting
Yeah.
as well. I mean, I haven't thought about the snack or
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
point, 0.5
Yeah.
point
Yeah,
bottles.
yeah,
And also it's so dependent with
We are
the
just reacting.
Yeah.
We are just
Yeah,
reacting.
yeah, nice. Yeah.
cooperation of the crew is so important.
Yeah.
The communication with the crew.
The
Yeah.
cooperation.
Cooperation.
They,
Yeah.
they must be willing to be in this because I think ECOFIM platform made a survey about this for the sector, how they are reacting to be in a sustainable production. Are there any works that were made in Germany, like how the crew is feeling and cooperating? Are they willing to be in such productions, sustainable productions, or just they are rejecting?
You mean if there happens a survey under the
Yes,
under
are
the
there
teams?
surveys or your observations? Are they willing to be or are
Oh
they
yeah,
cooperating?
some of them. It depends the age. If they are baby boomers, they are not so much willing into. You know, if some of them like use this topic with everything, with the climate, with Corona, with the wars. You know, somebody says, oh, this is all to control us. This is some, you know, and those people are everywhere. So and I think maybe if they're right or not, I don't want to blame anyone. So, but it's controlling the thing with controlling. The people get like, we are living in a free country. It's a democratic system. I want to eat my meat. Yeah. So, yeah.
If it's a long-term production, it may be easier, but think of a 2 or a 3-day production that, for example, for commercials, you're just giving the explanations to the crew that you have to eat vegetarian, eat healthy, then.
Yeah, commercial is totally different.
Commercial is new world. We will come to that a little bit
Later, yeah.
later, I think tomorrow. But yeah, of course. And it's also like you need every department contributing to this thing, because otherwise it's really hard. And yeah, but for example, did you told about what is fund in Germany? Because this is very important for this thing. Fund.
Fund, yeah. We're having like collecting system also, but that's more important for the Einweg actually.
Yeah, but also like for, you know, because it's easy in Germany to not have disposable tableware because we have a big collecting systems for bottles.
Yes, yes.
And this is really unique because you get money for the bottles you give back in the recycling system. And this is a big incentive.
But we heard also that in Istanbul, for example, like 30% of the waste is going to come back to the recycling system by like collectors, which collect like paper and plastic bottles and stuff like that. This is also systems where you can build something up on, if the state system has no offer for that. And yeah, and the other thing what I wanted to add about the team is that the young people, the young team members, they want all this. So that's why the older team members also say, okay, we have to go into that direction, because otherwise there won't be anyone to do the job anymore.
Also, there are in Turkey and some regions, there are some boxes where you put your bottle and they give some, they provide some food for street animals like dogs and pets. And like you said, younger generations and actually younger minds can change all those things. And we had, you had to talk about the packaging for the foods. There are many alternations. There are many different ways to make those packaging eco-friendly. Like, I think at that point we can consider us living a few centuries before, because we didn't have plastic bags then, but we could still make our lives keep going, and we could still travel with foods and everything. I know that some people were used to use waxes from the bees to make the clothes water resistant, and they can have their lunches, dinners with themselves.
With the paper with the bee wax.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. This is also something was traditional in Germany, and this is a very good point to work on, because this is something maybe the remembering in Turkey is not fresher than in Germany, because it's not so far away. Because in Germany it's away since the 70s, kind of. Since the 70s we get used to throw away capitalism, you know. So and this here's similar.
It's the world system after the Second World War.
Yes.
Starting from the 50s,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
culture of consumption is
Yes.
quite the same everywhere.
But it's a really good idea to get back to those old ideas, to also to tell them, and then we are back in green storytelling and communicate around us about those things. Yeah, I think she was first, then you.
Okay. I wanted to ask if the companies pay to the crew to make them accept all these standards.
For that?
Like, yes.
No.
Like to make the crew use public transport rather than using their
This
own
is
car,
different.
they pay
This is a
some
different
extra
topic.
money.
This different topic. But on that topic, they should do that. If they don't do it, it's part of the deal. But public transportation, is a different topic. It's a transportation topic, and this is something is the way to your working station. This has nothing to do with your work, and we are only acting on the working station. So the way to your work is nobody is allowed to know where you're coming from or where you're going, because this is private. So this is a really special topic. Yes.
Do the main actors apply for this thing, or they say, screw it, I will design it today, so I don't care about your initiative, something like this?
Yeah. Depends what their mindset is, right? There's some. I have a main actor from a very favorite serial I'm working on, and she was the one who wanted the green consultant on this serial, and she was the first one before the production manager who called me and said, "I'm so glad that you're here. I'm willing to do anything. I'm going to buy public transportation. I don't need any trailer. I don't need nothing. I'm so happy." And then you have other problems, but she was really into it. But you have all types, you know. But at the end, the insurance says the main actress is so important. If she does something on public transportation, if she gets sick, if she gets killed or whatever, we don't pay. So actors have to be picked up by a car with a driver.
It's an emotional topic, transportation. Yeah, it's great. Okay, I think this was the catering part. Do you have any more catering questions? Maybe one more point. This is also interesting. In Germany, we have now shops completely with unpacked foods. So it's just, and also like soap and oats and everything you can imagine without packaging. So you bring your own glasses and bring your own stuff. And I don't know if you have it here, but it's...
We have some.
Okay, nice.
I mean, a couple of small shops like that, but also Carrefour, you know, this supermarket chain.
Yeah.
They also started an action like
Carrefour,
that. In
yeah.
some of their shops, they have these kind of stands available where you can fill in your own packages. You take your own package and take some beans and I don't know, oats and rice and whatever, or some nuts, things like that.
That's nice.
Some cleaning products.
Yeah, of course.
Detergents, sometimes I get one.
I want to ask how fast did the vendors transform to this change? I mean, did you look for new vendors, new suppliers? Did you look for new companies, or did you ask them to transform their own products and the things? How did it happen? Or were they already available?
I mean, like, what is, for example, like the 100 green productions, when you look back in the journey, so it was really like an initiative from the industry in the first place. So there were some technical providers, for example, that were really on the green push and were like, we want to do it sustainable because we see it's a mess. What we are doing here, when you visit a film set, and when you see the waste that is, it's crazy. It's and traveling. I had also a production from in Italy and Germany. It was like hundreds of flights. It was crazy. Also for pre-production, just for visiting the places, and I mean you can do it remote. I would say, or maybe just the director and not like 10 people from Germany, 10 times. So there were a lot of people really like motivated to change something, and maybe I would say like, okay, maybe caterers, there were some that are now forced to do it because otherwise they are out of business, and there were maybe also some new ones. I don't know, I'm not really sure about that.
There are some new ones which are only doing vegetarian catering, biological, to a fair price, so they're younger and they have other way to handle the problems.
Yeah, and we show you one also regarding material because we are here, so we also have some platforms that now come out of somewhere and just for sharing, like for sharing economy, so you can
for film sets, sharing economy for film sets.
Yeah, so there's a movement. Okay, we will go into
We're
material.
quite late already.
Yeah, but this is the last chapter, I think, for ecological standards. Here we have the same thing in the first place for batteries, so no disposable batteries. This is, I would say, quite easy, that you just work with rechargeable batteries.
But not so easy to control.
Yeah, not so easy to control. Because, for example, when you have like big TV shows, they say it's not secure for us to have rechargeable batteries because we don't know the status, like how full is it loaded or like how many energy is left. But normally, like on location production, it's not a problem. And you have the exception here, like for these in-ears, or like the very small one, that's okay. But the normal batteries, that you recharge.
But you have sometimes in the art department a lot of batteries you don't know.
Yeah. You can't look in every device. Yeah, then we go to wood. We have one criteria here, and that is FSC and PFC. I don't know if you know the labels. It's quite similar, but the one is maybe more international. FSC is, I think, well known, and PFC. And this is like when you buy new wood, and there's no exception. When you buy new wood for the production, it has to be labeled with one of these.
Certified, yeah.
Certified, yeah. So also when you go like for, I don't know, one little thing, you should control the label.
But it's possible you can buy it in nearly every wood store nowadays. It was not like that since the Ukraine war came. It was kind of difficult for a year or something. And but now it's getting better again. The wood chain is again working.
Yeah.
I would say,
yeah. Then we have the costumes. We spoke about that. Costumes should be used multiple times. So this is really an infrastructure thing, but very important because, especially when we have only some shooting days, it's like you buy clothing and then you send it back after the shooting. And it's also when you have, I don't know, a scene where you have a white t-shirt for the main actor, you buy it 5 times because when it gets wet or dirty, you know it. So you have really a lot of unused fashion. And sometimes I know some production that are like, we give it to the crew or we give it to the actors.
most of them are doing a reselling at the end.
Yeah, but sometimes
not
it's
all
so
of the
much,
stuff,
or it's like so specific, then it's hard. Or sometimes it's like, okay, we sell it on a platform to other people, but then you need a person who's doing it, so it's also some effort. So we need the rentals for this. Or sometimes it's also that they say to the actors, can you bring your clothing, or they discuss it with them.
Yeah, and some actors like that and others doesn't, because they say, I'm playing a figure and that's not me, so I don't want to take my own clothes. And then you have also to say, okay, you're right, it's okay, it's no problem.
Okay, 21, so nearly the end. This is about paper. This is a really small one and really easy to fulfill, I would say. It's about all the paper used, especially in the offices, that it's a recovered fiber and paper, so like ecological paper and not from new wood.
And you have a label for that in Germany called the Blaue Engel, and then you are secure that it's over 90% recycled paper, which comes out of the recycling circle of the German paper recycling sometimes, or if it's from somewhere else. But that's why this is a good example for the circulation of materials and resources.
And also like kind of hard to control, but normally you check it with a photo, what kind of paper do you use in the office, and then you know it.
Or you get it at the end of the executive, you get the invoice and there says, okay, this is like eco-friendly paper from Blaue Engel. It says it's on the invoice on the.
I think that criteria goes for the clothing too. The recyclability. For example, when they use polyester material, that does not resolve in nature by itself, but they can recycle the fabric and make new uses for it. And that may be a different aspect to look at the situation.
And which situation? Sorry.
Well, I was thinking, we are saying that recovered fiber is important for using types of paper.
Yeah.
It also can be implemented in clothing.
Yeah. Yeah, but the problem there is that the clothing industry is using different materials and put them together into one,
Yeah, but
and you can't separate it anymore.
okay, and that's another problem.
That's a problem, yeah.
Yeah, we can use cotton or another natural fabrics for clothing, but we are using polyester more, like that.
I mean, what the green part of the Green Deal, European Green Deal, is to tell also the textile industry that they use only single plastic forms, that they can recycle the things again after using it. Because at the moment, 90 or more % of clothes are burned.
Okay, last one is waste separation. This is, I would say, really common in the offices, for example, but also on set. Yeah, at least like in paper, plastics, and organic waste when you advance. Maybe also like in glass and for example, like organic waste. Yeah, we have like some systems for that. That you have a trash can delivered, and yeah, this goes. Or will collect it after the shooting days. Yeah, I would say this is quite easy to fulfill, or like should be.
Still a problem on the set.
Yeah, sometimes.
With the people, I mean, Germans like to separate their waste.
Yeah.
But not when they are working. On set they are like little kids and throwing everything somewhere else. So it's educational process as well.
Maybe because it's job. I
Yes.
mean, you are talking about a way of life, a mindset.
Yes.
Yeah.
But going to work
Yeah.
and do things
Yeah.
there, something else. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, it's
That's why
totally
they throw.
that's totally true.
yes.
So I'm somebody else now.
Yes.
I'm working. Yeah, it's like
and
that.
when you go to work, because I'm here at work, but you tend to bend the rules, or you want to, or you do these things.
Yeah. Normally I'm a vegetarian, but at work I eat meat.
Oh, something like this. Yes.
It must be habit.
Yeah, and
For
you
us.
like to live also a different life on
Yeah.
work. That's why also remote is not so easy for some people, which used to go on travel trips all over the world and now have to do video calls. And they say, fuck, I like the jobs because I went somewhere else
I'm not paying for it.
and not paying for it. Thanks for you, Nihan. I'm not paying for my trip to Turkey.
That's why we served you meat today.
Okay, we have the last summary regarding like
Quick one.
yeah, like the green process maybe in general. So yeah, maybe this is for me like the most important point as early as possible, because when you're like one day before the shooting days, it's not possible to change everything or anything. But when you are on the other hand like part of the writer room and can really discuss the story, and you see like out of the script you see, oh, this will be difficult. For example, when you have the person is first in Egypt and then she's going to Germany and then we have a shooting scene here, it's like, okay, that will be much of emissions. So I think together with the second point that it's really top down and you speak with the management, and when they are pushing the topic, that's your best friend then, because with only, I don't know, with some people or just from the crew, it's very difficult to change the whole thing. But with the head of departments or with the management, when they are like, we go green, it's the best way to argue with all the people you speak about that.
Then the analyzing of the hotspots, we talked about that, and the communication, the close communication with the heads of department in a very friendly way, that you tell them that you are a partner of them and not working against them, and that it's all a work in progress, and we are here to change the situation, to change the system. It doesn't have to be happening on one day, but it will happen step after step.
Yeah, and then the communication is key, also like listening to the head of departments, and it's like, what is your challenge? How can we find a solution? How can we reduce something? How can we work with an alternative? This is really a ping pong, and or it should be.
Yeah, and then we talk about transport and energy, the biggest waste of energy and emissions, and the reducing of that, the reducing of the generators is one main topic, and the reducing of the transport. So work with regional teams is one thing. Regional teams is the best thing. You don't need any transport or hotels or anything.
Yeah, and especially when you then a German production here in Turkey, for example, that you say maybe the head of departments come to the country, but all the crew is with a local fixer, and you find the same people here, or very talented people here as well.
Yes.
And then yeah, and it's also like culture-wise, I think it's a big advantage. It's very nice that you work together. Yeah, and this is also like remote scouting, remote directing. It's not often, but you can think about that. What is possible remote? Yeah, and the last point, virtual production. We saw it already. We have like green screen productions or even virtual production with LED screens. So yeah, also
possibility.
Yeah, possibility. Nice.
Yeah, that were the ecological standards, and we did it.
Did it.
And you did it. Thank you very much.
We have it also here when you're very motivated to read through it. You can do it.
And you find it.
You can rent it.
You can find it on the website of Green Motion in English version. So there you can read it through it.
Yeah. So we do it this one really fast and really on the surface. When you have questions about that, it goes into the streaming emissions and also social media and stuff. And but we want to show you it because it's a very important part and has a lot to do with emissions. So
after end of production, when the movie is finished,
we have the Turkish Brad Pitt. That's what Anastasia said to me. So we have a little quiz for you now. I hope it works. Yeah. No. Yeah. Let's imagine he will post a reel, 60 seconds on Instagram. It has around about 60 million views. What is, yeah, 150 years of watch time.
Yeah.
And now you can translate it into flights. So like say from Istanbul to Berlin, what do you think, how many flights is it on the level of CO2? So you know you have this is like data.
60
and
seconds of
for data you need servers, and server is emissions. So when you have it on a line with flights, what do you think? Istanbul, Berlin, back and forth, how many times? For a 60 seconds reel.
With 60 million views
Yeah.
for 115 years.
How much?
3,000.
3,000?
No.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. No, I don't think so.
That's a lot. Any other guess?
Less than 1,000?
Less than 1,000?
10.
What?
10.
10?
100.
It's 150 times. That's a lot. You know, and it's just a reel and you click it and you're like on your feet. And it's a lot of emissions that you have. And I think I have a list here. So you see like for the different channels, TikTok is the most. But yeah, you can count it like per what is it? Per minute, yeah. And you use Instagram for a minute. And you have reels, reel after reel after reel after reel. It's a lot of data. I don't know.
I'm not confused. What caused these emissions? Who is responsible for that?
I think we talk about it now.
No,
Yeah.
after your.
Yeah, it's
We're
now.
talking about it when we talk about green streaming. It also is part of that.
Content.
It comes after that.
But we show that the problem is about watching videos, and videos are the products of film industry.
Right. But you can solve. We can solve that problem.
LinkedIn has very little amount on that. You know,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah,
Yeah.
not so much videos.
but YouTube, TikTok, the video streamers after.
Totally right. But there are solutions for that as well. And it's important that people watching movies. So that's why we're coming to the bigger topic, the greening of the streaming. Yeah. So Netflix is responsible for 15% of global internet traffic, and that's a lot. Like ITC, the ITC economy has about 6% of the global CO2 emissions. So it's the same like airplanes. So from that, it's 50% on Netflix. And you see why? This is the circle of transmission. It comes from the data to a processor, to a core network, to a cellular or wired WLAN or mobile, into the home terminals, and from there, from the router, into maybe another second router, and then into the final screens of iPads, TVs, mobile phones, etc. So this is the chain of energy is used to watch a movie. And if you compare it with like normal analog television, you know, one signal goes out for millions if you watch TV. Like not satellite and not cable, but like normal TV, old TV fashion style, that was one signal for 1 million. And now you have every spectator get an own signal. So if you have 1 million views, you have 1 million signals. And this is the same, and all this needs a lot of energy. And the most energy is going into the production of the ICTs, of the TVs, of the mobile phones, and of the iPads and stuff like that. So this is the worst case scenario. But the other thing is the rendering and the server farms and the core networks. They need a lot of energy as well. And yeah, we're coming to the next plate. So you can see it here. This is the amount of energy for user devices. It's like 54%. The networks are 2%, the mobile networks 16%, fixed networks 9%, and data centers 90%. Next one. And there we can see another statistic about the production and about the life cycle of ICTs, for example, for Fujitsu group products. There you can see that for the production of the energy, the most energy for a mobile phone goes into production, like more than 90%. So that means it would be very important that we use that device very long. But what is the trend? What does Apple? Every second year a new iPhone. And that raises the energy really high up. So this is, it's our short examples for,
What's the raw material you mean?
Raw material like all what you need to build, to construct an iPhone, for example.
Oh.
Like the
raw material.
Raw materials like mining the seltenen Erden.
Rare
irons and stuff like that. Yeah, it's all what's needed to produce it. For the other side, like a storage system is really low. Is really low in production energy, so you can change storage systems quick. Take always the new one, because the storage system uses the most energy in the life cycle while it's working. You understand? Yeah, it's a little bit complicated, but once you think about it, it's like we talked about with the cars. You not only can see the consumption of a car, but you also have to see the production cost and everything. Yeah, so this was a nice example I wanted to show you. And therefore, what can we do? So we're having a production we're having a server television broadcast company called Satu in Germany. And Satu uses green ICTs, so green produced ICTs, like what we see before. You can produce it also with green energy and with raw materials which came out of family-friendly mining systems. It's not happening maybe, but okay. But what they do, and this is the most important fact, they put their servers into the windmills. So we have a lot of windmills in Germany. And the servers are in the windmills and use the energy of the windmills to transport the data. So therefore, all the streaming is sustainable, eco-friendly. And this is a good combination. You can see that windmills in combination with storage, with data centers. And what you also have, and then I have to look, we have the advanced streaming technologies, which is a lot about AI, artificial intelligence. So how's the user reacting? Does the user need high-res movies like 4K or 8K, or is he satisfied with like normal HD, something like that? AI can do all of this. So with AI, there are new chances to make streaming a lot more greener, and because if I'm looking at a news format like politician or something, I don't have to look it in high res. If I look maybe Indiana Jones, I have to look it up in high res. Okay, so but most people don't think about this, and artificial intelligence can use that and do it for you. You just can put on the button and say, okay, I want to stream with RE, and then you have lower energy costs. And da war noch, geht noch mal zurück, da war noch was. And then you have, yeah, you also can have the carbon offset initiatives. This is the next theme, oder?
Mhm.
And Matteo will tell us something about that. And yeah, and you can make as well education, like user awareness, educational programs for streaming. Doesn't matter if it's TikTok or Netflix. You have to talk to the people. You have to make them aware what they are doing. If they're using mobile data, it's about 90 grams per hour CO2. If you're using like WLAN, Wi-Fi, it's only 5 grams. So there are a lot of things you can do, but the people don't know about it. So you need educational systems.
Any green streaming questions? Otherwise,
yeah.
Okay.
You're actually talking about lowering the maybe quality of the streaming, or also maybe the viewing times, as far as I understand.
The viewing times, it's like this would be something we say, we're living in a democracy, my viewing time is my cup of tea.
Yes.
But the quality, right, and also like you have also the resolution and the way you're producing the resolution things, and with the artificial intelligence you can control a lot of things. Yeah.
I understand it, but I want to ask that question because in the production or any other kind of the sustainability measures in the film industry, it makes very sense that it can be integrated into the business plan of the production company. So it's very reasonable because people want greener products, people want the new population wants that. I'm okay with that, but only in the streaming industry it's the vice versa, because they want to make their streaming quality higher, they want to make their streaming times higher, because right now competition is about that. So I think I cannot understand this greener streaming part of this presentation, because all the other part is very reasonable for me too, but because I think it's against their business plan in the core. In a very serious way.
It always depends what costs the CO2 emission. You know, in Europe you have to pay for every ton you're emitting, and the streaming companies are also confronted by that. So at one point you say, okay guys, you know, like Amazon now starts with commercials in the things. You know, we had that not before in Germany. We were used to no commercials when you're watching Amazon. But now you have to watch Amazon with commercials. So things are changing, and it's not only about the best way of viewing things. It's also the way what costs me more. And like energy's prices in Europe went up. So it's cost topic as well.
Yeah, and like especially for example artificial intelligence. Also hard word, it's a big amount of emissions. It's crazy. It needs so many capacities on servers and so on, and it's not a topic you speak a lot about, because you think, oh, I put on my computer and then I'm fine. But
using ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT.
But what's behind?
Blockchain, AI, and streaming has the highest numbers of that.
Yeah.
But I want to come to that point that only in the streaming industry side that I think governments need to have some restrictions or maybe some subsidies about that, because in the other part the business plan of the industry can make their way to integrate that measures to their business plan, but in that period I think governments need to restrict them from that.
But
In the other
as
side,
I understood, it's also depending on the culture for each viewer. For example, if you're watching in your iPhone, you don't need the 8K resolution, so
Yeah.
it reduces the resolution.
Automatically.
So you save energy and becomes more eco-friendly. The stream. It's both sides also, as the viewer's culture will change through this. You don't need, if you're watching on your phone.
If you're doing an educational project about this topic, people will change the way of behavior by themselves, because in some things it's just they don't know it, and that's why they're doing it wrong.
Are there some codecs that are more eco-friendly than another codex?
Yes.
H265.
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
But this is very special topic, and I don't have the information right now. I have the information in my computer, but not here right
You
now.
have to turn it off and then turn it
In
on.
general, just I want to
Yeah, no, but it's like that. The codecs make a huge difference.
Okay, we do it really quick because it's the last topic before the coffee break. When you have questions about it, we can go more into detail, but this is what we spoke about, CO2 compensation. It's a big trend, at least in Germany and Europe, just to pay money for your compensation. And yeah, like the basis, so that for the climate it doesn't matter where on the planet emissions are emitted or offset. So for a plane from Berlin to Turkey, you can plant a tree in, I don't know, Vietnam or something like this. This is like a little bit the basis behind that. And yeah, you can do it personally, so for a personal or individual flight, private flight, for companies, institutions. They buy the certification in the amount of their emissions, and yeah, the money that is collected through this is for example, climate protection projects, but there are a lot of projects at the moment, also social projects and stuff, so you can spend a lot of money in different things. And I think this is like the main part of it. So compensate is really the last thing on this chain. So in the first place, you should avoid and reduce the emissions, and at the end, when you see it's not possible anywhere in another way, then think about compensation. And I think this is most important, because there were a lot of projects, and I think there were also some restrictions from the European Union, because yeah, you need quality standards, because otherwise you spend money somewhere in the world and you don't know if the plant is really if the tree is really planted. So you can't control, you can't fly to Ecuador and here's my tree. So yeah, this
And
is
the compensation companies don't control it by themselves often.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was also a scandal about that in the
Yeah.
United States.
yeah, for the countries it's good money.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just show you some types that is possible. For example, I think this is the more the common one, reforestation. You plant trees in the amount, but this is also very abstract, but because the tree is like maybe in 20 years it's like the same amount of CO2 that you're paying for. So it's at this stage, so like at planting it's 1 gram maybe, I don't know. So really not a
If
lot.
you're lucky, yeah.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So, and this is quite new. This is the second one. It's like conservation. So you pay people that own forests. You pay them money that they conservate the forest, so they don't cut the trees and sell them for money. They take your money to not cut the trees. You know, so it's a big money-making thing. But it's coming, and it's also with AI that they scan the trees of the whole forest, and they see which trees are.
But this could be a very huge community building measure. For example, Turkey. If you say, okay, you produce a movie in Istanbul, and you say, okay, we give out like 1,000 or 2,000 euro from the budget to compensate our CO2 emissions, to regrow woods near to Istanbul or Ankara or something like that. Then you really immediately see, and you have an educational effect as well. So this is really, then it makes more sense, I think.
Yeah, and to go on the next level, for example, there are also projects that you pay for ovens, for example, so for heating systems for poor countries, because they heat maybe with wood, so they cut the trees and they heat with wood, and now you can pay them monies for a modern heating system,
Yes.
for example,
Yeah.
which is good to avoid deforestation.
Social and ecological.
Yeah, social and ecological. Another one is, for example, renaturation of moors. I don't know if we have some here in Turkey, but this is in Germany also a thing right now to get them back, because this is a really good storage of CO2 and we really need them. And you can pay for people to renaturate the moors. The third one is, of course, supporting renewable energy projects all over the world. So especially in Africa, there are a lot of projects for the industry that they build solar panels or windmills beside the industry, and you can also pay for it. And there are also like investing models. So you pay some money and you get
money back.
You get money back, after some years, because they have less costs for energy in some years. And one more is trading emission certificates. So there's like a trading market, and there's, for example, one startup for tomorrow, and you can how do you say it? You pay for emissions and that are not available on the market. So like bigger industry, what you said, they pay for CO2, but then cannot pay for more emissions. It's kind of abstract, but you have a market for emission certificates.
And the EU,
and if you have less,
right? Or globally,
EU.
EU.
So if you have less certificates on the market, the industry has to lower. And it's also like between industry, the one is like, hey, I have reduced my emissions, but I have more certificates, and we sell it to the other who has more. So.
But it's a black box.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's a way in the future, maybe.
Yeah. So it's very important that you see the standards, and especially there's like a gold standard, for example. So you really have to check where's my money going, because otherwise could be a trap. And this, for example, the CCP, they have like 10 points of certification. So, for example, tracking or transparency, and then if it has all 2 points, it's maybe a trustful project. But it's you really have to decide if you want to spend your money there. There are good projects, of course, but and I think it's a big topic, and it's even becoming bigger. But you really have to take care.
Yeah, or you ask someone who knows about it. Yeah, because otherwise you have to invest some time to check it.
Yeah, this was an intense summary, and then we go to this one.
Yay!
Thank you.